Okay, so today I'm going to take you guys through the exact mental framework that I go through anytime I have feelings of self-doubt, anytime that anxiety comes up again, anytime that I get overwhelmed, I get stressed out. And it doesn't really matter if you're in a situation where that you don't have full control over. It doesn't matter if you are in a situation that you do have control over. I'm going to show you exactly how you can break through that and overcome that. And I speak from experience because a couple of years back, before I started training, before I got into the gym, I went through a stage in my life where I had major anxiety, like crippling anxiety, to the point where I was medicated for it. I would literally just wake up multiple times through the night in this crazy panic attack, feeling like I couldn't breathe, feeling like there's always this weight on my chest. I just felt like my life was basically like I don't have control over my life, right? It absolutely sucks, and it feels like in that moment you almost can do nothing about it. You don't understand what the hell is going on. And it's the same thing with a lot of factors. It shows itself in many different ways, through stress. It shows itself through overwhelm, overthinking, second guessing yourself, always questioning every decision. And as I told you guys in the 72-hour recomp, which happened last week, which is, by the way, amazing. Like, I've set up the new structures, I've set up discipline. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. every single morning, even though I thought I wasn't going to. I kind of just, my body clock changed that, and the biggest reason for that is because I get a lot more work done, right, in the morning. So I get about 6 to 8 hours done before 12 p.m., somewhere around there, and then I'll do some more work in the evening. So I hit about 10 to 12 hours of work per day. And that's all because of the structures that I've set up, because I felt at that point like, all of this overwhelm. I've taken on a new business. I'm running a current business. I'm dealing with a lot of my clients. So, it's busy. I've got the content that I'm doing for you guys as well. So there's a lot on the plate. And the only way that you're going to not have that overwhelm is to, again, change the systems, change whatever is causing that root, right? And, with this anxiety that I had, it was terrible. It had a couple of factors. My parents had left the country. I was by myself. I just went into boarding school. I had no other family in the country at all. Like, luckily I had my friends. So that was a big change that happened in my life. Not just that, I went through like all of these thoughts of like, how did we get here? Like, what's going to happen if we die? I'm sure a lot of us go through that, and just really, it took absolute control of me. And of course, there were insecurity factors, insecurities that I grew up with my entire life. Some things go deeper into childhood, but in that specific time, like, I was very insecure about the way that I looked. I was very insecure. Had zero confidence whatsoever in terms of like, even just going to the beach, taking off my damn shirt, like, wearing shorts because my legs were skinny, and that also had to do with being in an all-guys school, and there's banter and all of those things. But even though it was banter, even though it was teasing, it hit me hard, right? And there were times as well where I had friends like almost make fun of me, like really good friends of mine that I knew for years, and I wanted to leave the school. Like, that's how bad it felt. And sometimes you just don't, it feels like you don't have any control over it, and you don't know what to do. So, a lot of people who have gone through this anxiety, a lot of you guys, and the reason why you're watching this video, you understand exactly what that's like. But here's the thing, you can completely rewire that, because at the end of the day, all that is feelings of depression, feelings of anxiety, overwhelm, is just a mindset, and it can be shifted. And I'm living proof of that. I've had clients that are living proof of that. My sister, who's just been going through this exact same thing, this mental battle of, what's going to happen, because she's working on the yachts and she's absolutely killing it at like 22 years old. But now she's like, what if I don't get a job, and and it's really having an effect on her. So I actually took her through a little coaching session as well, and I made her come to the realization that it's got everything to do with your mindset. But I'm going to show you guys the exact formula that I use. I'm going to show you guys everything within a Miro board that I've laid out, that I've mapped. So I recommend that you actually listen to what I have to say. And if you're the type of person that thinks that, mindset, it's all a bunch of mumbo jumbo, you are completely doomed for the rest of your life. Just you thinking that is going to make that happen, right? If you think that you are doomed for the rest of your life and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it, like, think about it in this aspect, then that will happen for the rest of your life. But if you're someone who builds a mindset and builds belief that you will get out of it, that you will achieve whatever you put your mind to, you will achieve it, because you will implement the steps needed in order to get there, in order to make that shit happen. Okay, and it's 100% possible. I've done it. I've had clients that have done it, and I mean, I've had friends that have gone through the same thing. I actually had a friend of mine who was very close in junior school, and he witnessed, I mean, I had a lot of friends that witnessed it, but he witnessed in specific, you know, what had been happening to me, because I remember back in the day there, we used to go to his dad's place and his brother was there and they were still smoking weed, and at that point I was smoking weed as well, and I stopped the weed because I literally would get into this super paranoid like feeling, and my brain would just go, almost like it couldn't stop, so I stopped that for a while. And then a couple of years later, we aren't that close anymore, but a couple of years later he reached out again and he said, listen, I remember that time that you went through all of these things, like what did you do? Because he's feeling that. I think a lot of us do go through that, you know, it's human, and you go through things like self-doubt, like me starting this new business. It's something completely new to me, it's something completely foreign to me, so I'm questioning, like, am I doing this right? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And the exact same thing happened with my fitness, right? And when I first started this transformation, I ended up becoming, I really enjoyed the process because of how it made me feel, but then I just kept setting the standard higher and higher, and that's just what I do with everything in life, and wanting to reach new goals. And then the fact that I've hit a plateau for such a long time kind of just put me in this, like, am I doing this right? Should I be doing this? What should I be doing to make sure that I, you know, gain muscle and stop picking up all of this fat? What is going to take me to the next level? And I started questioning myself, and then you sort of kind of go into those thoughts of like, damn, is this even going to work? Like, can I even achieve this physique? But when you start thinking that way, then you won't achieve it, because again, you're not going to implement the things needed to do that. So what I did instead is I analyzed the situation. I said, okay, this is what I want to do. What is going to be the best option? I decided then and there, okay, I've gained a decent amount of knowledge. Now I'm going to upgrade that knowledge, and I'm actually going to study the subject. And I studied the subject, I learned a lot more, I improved, and then I got to a threshold where, you know, that information just wasn't going to take it to that next level. And that's where I got a coach, like one of the best bodybuilding coaches in the damn world, like literally taking guys to Olympia, because I wanted to gain that knowledge. I wanted to gain those expertise to take my physique to the next level, and of course to take my clients to the absolute next level. So it's an investment in myself, and it was an investment in my business at the time, you know. So that's how I completely moved away from that, because I had a clear plan, I had a clear goal, I knew exactly what to do that's going to take me and my clients to the next level, and that's basically where it started. Now with a new business, yes, some days I wake up with that self-doubt, like, damn, is this going to work? Is this going to work? And then I snap myself out of it very quickly, and I said, you know what, I've been through this before, I've had these feelings before, and it all starts with a mindset and reframing that. So I'm going to take you guys through two major things, which is what I like to call, one is the mental reframe of how you can reframe a situation that you have absolutely no control over. For example, right, I'm 26 years old. You guys might know this if you've been following along the journey, but it's been 2.5 weeks since I've had a back operation. Leading up to this back operation, shit has just been, it's been really tough, right? Everything just came to a complete standstill. I've been working toward a goal for so many years. You know, like getting that pro card last year, I literally just came short of it. I came second of being the best bodybuilder in Africa, because that's where I'm from, South Africa. And you know, that was going to secure me that pro card that I've been working so hard toward and take me international and compete there. And you know, it sucked. It went from me not being able to literally walk, right? I couldn't put on my shoes, I couldn't put on my flipping underpants. I had to get my girlfriend to literally put on my pants and shit. And I just ended up being stuck at home for the first week to 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. You know, those thoughts of self-doubt, like, shit, when am I going to get back? Is this ever going to get sorted? You know, what's going to happen with the surgery? Is my medical aid going to cover that? Which they didn't end up covering, and I had to just fork out a shitload of money that was going to go toward other investments. But you know what? It is what it is. And just by this simple thing, right? And I'm going to show you exactly the framework that I go through. But the first place that you start is you just ask for gratitude. Like, you look at what you have. So even with spending all of that money on the surgery, right, out of my pocket, I was like, damn, that's obviously, that sucks because that was going to go toward another investment to take me further. But then I thought to myself, you know what, this is an investment. This is an investment in myself. And not just that, like, what an absolute privilege that I can afford that. What an absolute privilege. I'm in a position now that I literally wished I could have been in a couple of years ago. It's financially, mentally, and physically, right? I have been able to break through, and that's all because I kept that positive mindset. That's all because I locked in my mentality and I understood the importance. Any successful person in life, any person that doesn't deal with this, that doesn't let this anxiety, that doesn't let this overwhelm, frustration, and stress take over their life, because that's basically what happens as soon as you fall into that spiral. Anyone that learns how to move through that excels in life, because that is going to be one of the biggest detrimental things. So many people are not successful. So many people don't start things because of the fear of failure. But at the end of the day, failure, going through these trenches, going through these hard times, that is what builds you as a man. These are all tests, right, that the universe is throwing toward you, that God is throwing toward you. And when you overcome them, you literally become stronger. And this is going to sound fucking crazy, but you know what? I'm actually glad that this back operation happened. So much in my life has changed. Yes, I went through hell. I went through mental stages where I was like overthinking and like almost falling into depressive states, but then I got myself out of it. But so much, so much like sprouted, so much grew from this period, right? I've been able to focus on so many other things which I never like focused on, and self-development is such a big factor on that. And I've just been reading. Anyway, I'm gonna go through all of that shit in the Miro board, so stick around, take notes on this, because I promise you it is insane. And if you're the type of person that thinks it's a bunch of bullshit, then you honestly aren't willing to do anything to make that change, right? You're not willing to take that, because this comes from thousands and thousands of successful people, books on people who have gained success in all aspects of their life. Me, as an example of going from that 58 kg skinny fucking insecure dude to who I am now, completely comfortable in my physique. I've lost over 30 pounds of muscle during this time. I haven't been able to train, but you know what? It's got no effect on me mentally, whereas before I would stress if I lose like 1 kilo, like 3 pounds of weight, like in 1 week, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's happening? No, I figured out a system, I figured out a strategy that is proven, that is always going to take me there. Even when I fall, even when I break down, I just rise, because my mentality allows me to think in that way, and it allows me to act upon that. So guys, let's take it to the Miro board, and I really hope this is going to give you a ton of value, and I'm sure it will. And I want you to implement this shit from day one. Implement this now. Look at what you have going on in your life, and what could be causing certain factors of anxiety, certain factors of stress, and deal with it, right? It is part of being a man. We get shit that women will never understand, and at the end of the day, you got to deal with it. So let's get into it. Right, gents, now we got you in the Miro board. So let me take you through exactly the two different frameworks that I use, either when I don't have control of a situation, and how I completely reframe my mind to literally use this as fuel to gain whatever success, to gain whatever momentum, and to just develop that mindset and rewire everything. And I'm also going to give you a scenario, a framework that you can use if you do have control over the situation. Okay, so let's start. So it's a 5-step framework that will literally change the way that you look at things. Step 1 is analysis. Okay, this is analysis. It's going to be for absolutely both. It always starts off with analysis. Analyze the situation that you're in. What are you currently experiencing? Ask yourself, do you have control over the situation? Do you not have control over the situation? And you need to be completely honest with yourself. Okay, because if you're not honest with yourself, change isn't going to happen. You're going to continue feeling the exact same way that you feel, and there's just going to be no hope, right? And we want to change that. So let's take it through this scenario. Let's go with, yes, you have control over the situation. I'm going to be straight up. you need to shut the fuck up and make a choice to change, right? If you know very well that you have full control over the situation, then make that change, right? And it's not always easier. It's always easier said than done. But I'm going to take you through that framework if you honestly still feel hopeless and you feel like there's nothing that you can do about it. Okay. So I want you to understand that complaining and blaming external factors won't change a single thing, right? It's not going to get you out of that situation at the end of the day. And that's something that you just really need to have in mind and really, really think about. Okay, so no one is coming to save you. Only you can save yourself. Every single one of us have the capability to change our lives. The only thing standing in your way is you. You are the only thing standing in your way. Sometimes the truth hurts, okay, and I'm going to be straight up. But the fact is, you are watching this. The fact that you're watching this actually shows that you are ready to make a change and that you are willing to be committed and that you are willing to do the things needed to get out of that rut, to get out of that situation and to start feeling a lot better at the end of the day. So if you still feel lost, okay, I understand it. I've been through it multiple times in many aspects of my life. That's through fitness. I've been through it in relationships. I've been through it in, you know, things that have happened to me, injuries, past life experience, childhood, all of that shit. But this is one of the most powerful things that I've ever used, and it is ridiculous. This is known as the power of autosuggestion, or known as autosuggestion rather. So autosuggestion is extremely powerful, right? I do this daily. I literally do this twice per day, right? When feelings start to come up, when I start having self-doubts, when I start second guessing myself, when I feel like, you know what, I'm still stuck, I'm not getting out, what tends to happen is you just get into your own head and you start to overthink every situation, every action that you do. And you can't do that because that is going to hold you back. That is going to keep you stuck. Now, this auto suggestion literally boosts my confidence, it boosts self-belief, and progress literally always follows. And not just that, a positive attitude. So let me explain what auto suggestion is. So it's basically the brain priming itself to look for what you tell it, right? So it's something known as selective attention. So if you tell yourself that you have got this goal, you are going to achieve this, and nothing is going to stop in your way, what tends to happen is is selective attention, right? This is where your brain starts to rewire and looking for every opportunity to make that goal, that belief a reality. Okay. I'll give you an example of this. So let's say that your goal is to drop 20 pounds, right? You've been overweight, you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, like you never feel comfortable or confident going to the beach, taking your shirt off at the beach, you don't feel confident and comfortable in your own clothes, right? If you tell yourself every day, I am dropping those 20 pounds. I am dropping those 20 pounds. I'm dropping those 20 pounds. Your brain is going to start looking for opportunities to do so, right? You tell yourself that you are capable of this change. You will make this change because you're sick and tired of the situation that you're in. And think about the light on the other side of the tunnel, right? Think about how the grass is going to be greener, how your life is going to change. Your brain is going to start looking for every opportunity to do that. Okay. Anytime you can get steps in, anytime you can avoid getting Uber Eats, anytime that you go into the shops and look at that chocolate, you know, no, I'm on this journey. I'm going to make it happen. And slowly your brain starts to rewire itself and starts to act upon these things. Self-talk shapes behavior. You start to create this expected reality, right? This is expected effect, and your brain starts to behave to that expected reality. So basically it's also an identity change, right? You're not just dropping 20 pounds, you're becoming that person. You're becoming the type of person who is fit, who is healthy, who is lean, right? Who takes care of himself. So your reality starts to shape behind you. What you do, everything changes. The food that you buy, you going to the gym, you doing your faster cardio, you doing everything needed to step into that reality at the end of the day. Repetition builds new neural pathways. Okay. This is why reading it out twice aloud. You read it out. I do it more than twice. I do it in the morning, I do it in the evening. Anytime I have like a little bit of self-doubt, I read that shit out, and I promise you my mindset changes like this. It changes like this. And like I said, I still get that to this day, right? I've taken on a new business, and you know, it's scary. It's like, you know, you're taking a risk at the end of the day, and you have the self-doubts, the second guessing that comes along with that. Now, this triggers neural rewiring. So it gets deeply embedded into your subconscious. And you need to understand that you need it to be in your subconscious. So it starts to become natural because our brain is driven by the amygdala. Now, the amygdala is a part in the brain that is wired from centuries, thousands of years ago, right? When humans were literally their main priority was survival. So that's the fight and the freeze mechanism. So if anything's uncomfortable, if anything is scary, if there's any risks involved, your brain literally starts to tell yourself like, no, I'm not going to do it because I want to play it safe. I want to play it safe. Now, you need to acknowledge that when that happens, and you need to just tell yourself, okay, no, I'm going to make this happen. This is going to happen. It's like going to the gym. Yes, it's uncomfortable, right? And if you have this negative self-belief, if you are scared of failing, if you have that fear of failure, then your brain literally tells yourself, okay, I'm going to take the safe way and not do that because I don't want that disappointment to come. But I promise you, failure is literally the key to success. Failure is the key to success because every time you fail, you literally learn something. You analyze again. You say, okay, where did I go wrong? What needs to change? Do I need to get help? Do. You think of all of these different ways because now you've got this new outlook toward it, right? You're like, no, nothing is stopping me. Nothing is getting in my way. So then you start to look for those opportunities. You start to look for those opportunities. I'm gonna take the stairs instead of the elevator. All of these little things are going to take you to that desired outcome no matter what. So it becomes natural. Okay, for the first week, remind yourself, okay, I'm taking the stairs. I'm taking the stairs. I'm taking the stairs. Damn, the third day, I want to take the elevator. I'm tired. No, I'm taking the stairs. Give it a week, give it 2 weeks. Automatically, without you even thinking about it, you're going to take those stairs, right? You're going to get in those extra steps. Now, this is the formula that I use, right? Every time I've got a big list of certain things. I've got business goals, I've got fitness goals, I've got health goals, I've got relationship goals, everything that I've got issues in, everything that I potentially have self-doubts in. I use this formula and I write it down and I literally have that thing on my phone, like as my cover. Literally, it's there. You can't see it, but it's there. I've got it on the screensaver of my phone. So anytime the shit comes up, I read it. Super simple, super easy before I go to bed, when I wake up in the morning, when I sit at my desk. Okay, so that that you want, whether it be financial freedom, right? You want $100,000 per month by this time, right? You want to drop 30 pounds of fat by this time. You want to pick up 10 pounds of lean mass by this time. Okay. So I'm building lean, muscular, energetic body. That is the exact outcome that you want, the exact desired outcome that you're looking for that is going to change your life. You need to state the effort and the sacrifice that you're willing to commit because you need to understand there is no such thing as something for nothing. It doesn't exist, right? Yes, it's going to take work. Yes, it's going to take discipline. Yes, it's going to take consistency, but it's going to be so worth it at the end of it. So I give consistent discipline action every single day: training, nutrition, and recovery. Training, nutrition, and recovery. Then you need to state the time frame. Okay. I am achieving this outcome over the next 12 months. I'm achieving this outcome over the next 3 months. By you telling yourself that, you're literally giving yourself a timeline, right? That means, okay, you're gonna show up, like you're gonna make sure that it's done. If someone, let's say you're a parent, right? If someone said, and this is a harsh thing, you've got a year, no, not even, you've got 3 months, to get into shape or your children being taken away from you. Yes, I understand it's harsh, but you will get there. You will freaking do it no matter what. Think about it in that way. Okay. Then you need to describe the type of person that you are wanting to become. For an example, I am the man who follows through, sticks to his structure, honors his body, and honors his word, because that is the essence of a man. You need to be truthful, you need to be honest, and you need to stick to your word. Otherwise, you're not a man. Okay. And I've had issues in the past where I make promises to certain people, I make promises to myself, and that honestly, that also builds, that also breaks down self-confidence ridiculous amount because you just get to the point where you don't believe anything that you say. All of these promises that you make, all of these goals that you make never actually become a reality. They never solidify. You need to state your plan. Example, my plan is to follow a training schedule, eat with intention, improve my insulin sensitivity, and make data-driven adjustments weekly. That is how you're going to get there. You need to tell yourself, how am I going to do these things? And then you're going to stick to these things because, again, your brain's going to be right and it's going to become natural, right? It's going to become automatic. You need to repeat it with emotion and imagery. Repeat it every morning and every night. And that's exactly why I say you speak it into existence. You speak it with emotion. Why you want it so bad? How is this actually going to change your life? Then you have the imagery, you read it, you stick it up on your wall, you stick it up on your fridge, damn, stick it up by the toilet every time you go take a shit. Do that. Okay, do that. And if you aren't willing to adopt this, then you really aren't willing to make a change. You are not ready. Because if you really wanted it bad enough, if you knew that you really needed this, you will do anything in your power to do so. I want success so badly. I wanted my physique change so badly. I wrote that shit down in my book every day. I don't write it down in my book every day anymore because it takes a lot of time. Time is money at the end of the day, right? We don't have a lot of time. So I just pre-write it and then I read it, and it helps me actually stay a lot more consistent with it. So here's a full script that you guys can copy. Use the script, but obviously it's going to be completely based on you, what your specific goals are. I'm building a lean, muscular, powerful body. I give discipline, consistent action every day, training, eating with intention, and following my structure. I'm achieving this result over the next 12 months. I'm the man who follows through, keeps his word to himself, and shows up with purpose and intention. My plan is to train with intensity, improve my insulin sensitivity, as I know that is going to be the key to helping build lean muscle and drop fat and never get fat in that process, and honestly getting your body to work for you rather than against you. And this shows, and without the fat gain to adjust the data each week, excuse me. So I see this version of myself clearly. I feel it with emotion and I move toward it every single day. And you got to tell yourself, nothing is going to stop in my way because I have a burning desire to make this change. I am backed by faith as I know that what I set my mind to, I will achieve. And you need to understand that every successful person out there does this. Okay. There is no one that is successful with a negative mindset. There's no one that has achieved anything with a negative mindset. It's that simple because shit gets hard, right? Shit gets difficult. It gets tricky. You might run out of time, but this self-doubt isn't going to get you there at the end of the day. Now, that's if you have control of the situation. When you've got control of the situation, you are in full control. It's just about the mindset shift that you need to think about. Now, let's take it a little bit deeper, right? Now, this is if you don't have control. Okay, something has happened in your life. Maybe you're born into a situation that you really can't help. But you know what? At the end of the day, you might not have control over that situation at that very moment or at all, but you know what you do have? You've got control of how you look at things. You've got control of how you act toward things. And stick with me because this is going to be extremely valuable. Now, you analyze. Okay, I don't have control. You've really been honest with yourself and you see that you don't have control of the situation that you're in. Okay, then you need to acknowledge. You need to tell yourself, you know what, it's not fair. It's not in your control. You might feel helpless and your feelings are 100% valid, and whatever position you're in might absolutely fucking suck, right? It might suck, to say it plainly. Then you need to just be grateful. If you tell yourself every day how grateful of the things that you are, that again rewires your brain. That rewires yourself. If you're not in a position that you want to be just yet, right? You know that you want to get there. You've been through the struggles. You've tried this. You've tried that. You've had the self-doubts. You need to just remind yourself, listen, this goal is what I want. I hold myself to a certain standard. I know that I'm capable of so much more and I want to become the best version of myself. And these negative thoughts aren't going to push me forward. You stop with grateful. Think about your life, right? Think about what you're grateful for. Literally say them out loud. Doing this will already shift your perspective. Let me give you an example of just like something completely off topic with when it comes to food consistency, right? Staying consistent with your meals. No one likes to stay consistent with their meal prep. Okay. Like there's days where I'm like, damn, I really don't feel like having this meal right now. Damn, I really don't feel like having this protein shake right now. Like then you can literally just go, you know what? How grateful am I? How lucky am I to be able to have this protein shake? How lucky am I to be able to work toward my goals, to achieve that desired outcome, to become that man that I want to become. Think about it in that way. Once you say that out loud, your perspective automatically shifts. This is an absolute hack. Okay, think about everything that is going in your life in favor. The fact that you are alive, the fact that you are breathing, the fact that you have accessibility to the internet, okay, is another brilliant example. The fact that you are able to watch this video, the fact that you are able to take in this knowledge, take in this value, and actually use it to your advantage. Be grateful. Then you need to bend it to your advantage. Okay. So find a shit situation and always look for that silver lining. Ask yourself, how can I take this and make it positive? It might seem easier said than done, but the sooner you come to the realization that this is what it is for the moment and you're feeling sorry for yourself, being pissed off about whatever situation that it is, like the cards that you have been dealt, the sooner you're going to stop letting it take absolute control of yourself. Okay. I want to give you an example of this. This guy is an absolute legend. Now, I came across his page, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and his journey has stuck with me, right? His journey has absolutely stuck with me. Now, his name is Nick. Now, look at this. Look at the cards that this man has been dealt. He doesn't have arms. He doesn't have legs. Do you think that he went? I'm sure for a big portion of time he felt shit. He felt sorry. He probably wakes up wishing X, Y, and Z. But Does it look like this man has let it taken control of his life? And I don't know much about his journey, but I just remember very clearly of him training. I still remember he was training with literally a plate here. He had some strap here. This dude is still going to the gym. So your excuses, like they're excuses, and your excuses are holding you back. Look at this. He's been able to take his situation, the situation that he has been dealt, and made money. He's been able to motivate people. He's got a podcast. I know that he does public speaking, motivating the shit out of people. There is, I don't know if that's his car, if that's his Bugatti in the back, but damn, if that's there, here's the video. Look, there's him with the plates, doing exercise, not letting anything get in his damn way. Look at his Bugatti. I think it's his Bugatti, but he's successful. I've seen it. He's traveling. He's living life. He's giving people motivation. He didn't just lie in his bed and feel sorry for himself. No, he found a way to take that to his advantage, and now he's extremely successful. He's got a shitload of followers on Instagram. He's changing people's mindset and perspective every single day. He's got a purpose. He's got a purpose because he took his shit situation and he found a way to bend it to his will. Okay. Now this, just by the way, is an absolute legend. Mad respect for this guy. Now, the next step and the final step is once you figure out a way to bend that to your advantage, you found that silver lining, this is where you need to take action. Okay? This is where you need to take action and actually make that change. Now, let me give you an example. This is an example of me. So for the past 10 months, it's actually been 11 months or so now, I've had about 30% physical capability. Now, all of that's changed because I've had the surgery 2.5 weeks ago, but everything stood still. Something that I was working toward for years, putting in a lot of sacrifice, putting in a lot of effort, and I just came short of that pro card. You know, it was shit to begin with, right? A lot of investment money, a lot of this, a lot of that, all of that stuff. A lot of hard work. It hit me hard. Okay. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't walk. I literally had my girlfriend put on my underwear. I had my girlfriend put on my damn socks. You know, everything hit me like a brick. I'm 26 years old and I couldn't do basic things. I literally had 30% of my capability. I went through a stage of feeling sorry for myself, feeling that everything is unfair, that what has happened to me at such a young age. I feared that I would have it would have a major impact on my life. What my career was going to look like, because at that point, you know, I was doing online coaching 100%, and I still do, and I absolutely love it. But I was also looking to potentially take bodybuilding, you know, in as a career path, as like a side career path, because business has also always been a big you know, ambition of mine and big goal of mine. I've absolutely loved it. And I made a video speaking of, you know, the biggest driving, the biggest purpose is being able to take nothing and turn it into something. It's through construction, through my physique, through business, building something from nothing. That's why I've started this new business as well, which I'm going to share later on. You know, that's coming. But, you know, this shit kept me in that house. It kept me in like a depressive state. It broke down my mental. Like I had, you know, I let it just kind of sit there, and I completely forgot about using this framework as well. And you know, sometimes it takes charge, and you can fall into that spiral. But the issue is, if you fall into that spiral, fucking bro, getting out of it becomes so difficult. And that's again with that anxiety issues that I had back then. But I controlled that situation. This I didn't have any control over, and you just get sucked in. And I was like, you know what? And I burst out in tears, man. Like I'm gonna be straight up. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I burst out in tears a couple of times, you know, and then I snapped myself out of it. And you know, if I'd have to ask my freaking girlfriend to carry a box for me because I can't even carry a box, like you know, it sucks. I'm a man. I'm a protector. If there was something that happened when we're out, like what the fuck am I going to do? I'll give everything. I will mess up my back even more. But you know, it's that those feelings, those thoughts. But let me show you exactly how I use this framework. So I went like this: analyze it. Yes, my feelings are valid. I have no control with this outcome that has happened. Then I acknowledge it. My feelings are valid. Okay, I don't have control. It's something I don't have control over. Then I'm grateful. I have friends. I have family who care. I have a roof over my head. I have food on the table. I have the privilege to work from home to earn an income because of the sacrifices that I put in those many years ago and that risk that I decided to take. You know, it was all a gamble at the end of the day. But I had so much belief, and I've been able to build a successful business out of it, you know, and most importantly, serve my purpose in helping people who struggled with that exact same shit, the anxiety, the you know, lack of self-confidence, all of that. I'm able to help people transform their lives, and that brings me the utmost joy because at the end of the day, what is life without purpose?
And I always say a man without purpose, a man without a mission, a man without a goal is a menace to society and is a depressed man at the end of the day. And that's why I felt like this, because I felt like all of my, like, what the fuck am I doing? Right. I was bodybuilding. This is what I've been doing for like so many years. I've been working toward this goal for 10 years, not like professionally. I only took it serious about 3 years ago. But anyway, friends, family, support system, super privileged, super happy. And that instantly just got my mind back on track. Then how am I going to bend this shit to my will? Well, I have a brilliant opportunity to educate myself. I have a brilliant opportunity to make the absolute best program that there is, to have the best fulfillment for my clients, to take everything to the next level. And again, to do my purpose, to build nothing into something great, right? And I've been able to work on these things. I didn't go to the gym. I was able to focus. I was able to, this is where I really took on self-development. You guys see me on Instagram doing my self-development every single morning and every single evening. I read a book. I watch a podcast. I've got courses that I'm busy doing right now just to help with that self-development, and I've absolutely loved it. My life has also changed just from doing that, so I highly recommend it. And I'm going to give you a brilliant book recommendation at the end of this video. So stick with me. Now, I had the privilege to improve my systems even more, okay? I had the privilege to rest for the first time in 10 years where I'm not training every single week, right? Following a meal plan to the T, even though I did keep my meal plan on track because I'm not going to just let myself go. And, it's post-surgery now, 2.5 weeks. I probably got another 3 to 4 weeks left before I can go into the gym. And I haven't let myself go. I'm lean. I went through the insulin recon method for those 10 weeks, which you guys can see on my YouTube as well. That journey of being able to train for a little portion of time and then my back completely tweaked out again. So yeah, that's on there if you want to watch that. But how am I going to solve this? What action am I going to take to fix this? Okay, I started stretching. I started foam rolling. I forced myself to start walking, and funny enough, that walking, pushing through that initial pain actually helped because a lot of my muscles in the surrounding areas of my legs, I haven't trained legs in almost a year. That's crazy. We're starting to like spaz out. They were starting to tweak out, which was causing other problems. So that walking actually helped. I made more money. I built a business. I helped more clients. I helped more people fulfill their dreams and their goals. Um, you know, the medical aid wouldn't cover the procedure, so I had to do it myself. But you know what? Again, I was grateful because of the position that I was in order to do so. Now, I wrote this a while back, so I have the surgery booked within the next 2 weeks. I got the surgery done. There we go. How freaking awesome is that? Now, let me give you just two more examples that you can look at it in a different way. All right, just two complete different examples. Let's say that you're born into poverty. Okay, let's say your business maybe crashed and all your money, everything went to shit. You've hit rock bottom. Are you going to feel sorry for yourself? No, because it's not going to change. And I want you to understand there are hundreds of thousands of success stories like this, hundreds of thousands. So you are no different to anybody else. Okay, the only difference between those who get out of these situations and those who don't is the mindset, is how you look at things and how you reframe things. And that is why I say anxiety is a state of mind. Your mind is the most powerful thing in the universe. Think about it, right? What you say will happen regardless. If that desire and it's backed by faith is strong enough, you are absolutely unstoppable. So let's go. Boom, you're doomed. Analyze, okay? I'm born into a shit situation. I have no control over where I was born or my business crashing. Maybe I had control over your business crashing, but let's say it happened. COVID hit. Shit, you had no control over that. What are you going to do now? You're going to acknowledge, again, those feelings are valid, but it's not going to get me anywhere. It's going to keep me exactly where I am. Then you're going to be grateful. Grateful that you are alive. Grateful that you can breathe air. Grateful that you have the ability to walk if you have the ability to walk. Grateful that you have the ability to hear, to speak, to watch this. Again, if you can obviously hear and speak if you're watching this. Gratitude. Quick little instant reframe. Then bend it to your will. Okay. Damn, I'm still in this really shit position. My business went down, but instead of me feeling stressed out about it, instead of me being depressed about it, I'm going to use this as drive, as motivation. I'm going to make the craziest come up story there is, or if it's your business that crashed, I'm going to make the craziest comeback story there is. And all of the stress, all of these doubts, I'm going to use as fuel because I believe it so much. Then you're going to solve it. You're going to take action. Damn, if you're born into poverty, go find 10 different jobs, sleep 3 hours a day. If you want it bad enough, you will do that. Damn, I knew if I was in that position, I would do that. I would go clean toilets. I would clean houses. I would sweep the streets. I would go into construction, something that doesn't involve me, having that knowledge and that brain power. Because if you're born in that scenario, you might not have access to that knowledge, right? But if you've run a business before, you know very well how to run that business again. Start getting new mentors, start doing this. But work for that money, work for that money, work for that. Think. Use your head. If you're born into poverty, think about it. Okay, I'm going to do this job. I'm going to do this job. I'm going to do this job. I'm going to earn money. I'm going to save money. That money that I save, I'm going to invest in knowledge to help me get out of that. I'm going to look for an industry that's going to help me get there. If it takes you 10 years, if it takes you 20 years, it doesn't matter. You will get there eventually. Again, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of stories like this. You're no different. And there you have it. You've taken a situation that you have no control over, and you've bent it to your will, and you've gotten out of it, and you've become stronger. People who start from nothing and build something, bro, the characters that you build, like the character that you build, the man that you become, unstoppable. Girlfriend broke up with you. Damn. Analyze. Maybe you have control of it because you did some dumb shit. Okay? That's for the other section. Now, you don't have control of it. She just doesn't love you anymore, right? Unfortunately, that's life. Shit happens. Okay? You can acknowledge the feelings. Damn, I feel like shit. I'm going to be depressed about it. Oh, I'm going to maybe commit suicide, thinking of suicidal thoughts. Bro, dude, there's so much more to life. There's so much more to life. There's plenty of women out there. Yes, you had a bond. Yes, you had a connection. Yes, you were in love. That doesn't mean you have to take it that far, right? Don't fall too deeply into that depressive state. Now, you're going to be grateful that you are alive. Grateful for whatever is going on in your life. Be grateful. Think about it. You got a family, you got a support, whatever it is. Everyone's is going to be completely different. So find what yours is. Bend it to your will. Use that shit as drive. Use that shit as motivation. Yeah, she broke your heart. Damn. Watch me make the craziest comeback by success. By success and becoming that man who she maybe wanted to love, who you maybe weren't at that stage, at that period of your life. And then you're going to take action, solve it, implement everything that is needed that is going to get you there. Guys, use this. Please implement this. I promise you, this has changed my life. This has changed multiple of my clients' lives. This has changed my sister's outlook on things, right? And it will change yours if you are open and if you are willing to do so. Now, if you are still unsure how to implement this, DM me on Instagram. If you feel like you need these systems, these structures set up, DM me. My information will be somewhere here in the description. But just do it. Just get it done. I promise you. Implement these things. Don't say you are going to do it and then you're not going to do it. Do it. Your life will change. My life has changed. Okay. Guys, I hope you found this very valuable. If you did, if you like more content like this, if you need more development with regards to your mindset, comment below, send me a DM. Even send me a DM with what you found valuable. Send me a DM if there's not something that you can fully understand. Send me a DM if there's a situation that you are like you don't know how to get out of it, even using this framework, and I will help you out. I'm happy to help you out. Okay. The book. I want to give you a book that you need to start reading today. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is an absolute game changer. It will change the way that you look at things. If success is what you want in any aspect, fitness, relationship, business, you can find a way to apply it. I'm literally going to read this book probably well over 100 times in my lifetime, because every time you literally think, and it's not grow rich monetarily, it's grow rich mentally, health, all of those things. But peace, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Let's go.